So Jordan Love has had quite the offseason, working out with Drew Brees. He's going on a bunch of different podcasts. We saw him with Micah Parsons. It was a great episode. Rallying the Packers to all show up to OTAs. It's been a great offseason for Jordan Love. And there's a lot of attention on him. And it's warranted. The potential breakout quarterback star of a top 5 most popular franchise in the NFL. Everyone's talking about him. And now we've moved to the GOAT. Tom Brady is talking about Jordan Love as well. He was on the Herd with Colin Cowherd, and he talked about the start to Love's career, saying how beneficial it was to sit behind Aaron Rodgers. Brady said, he had Aaron Rodgers to watch. That's the best type of training, in my opinion. Watch someone else do it at a very high level and then try to emulate them with your own personality. Maybe a little bit of a misnomer with the draft is that these players can come in and all of a sudden become this great professional player before they've really had the training and the development. And, we see it a lot now in today's NFL. Guys just being thrown into the fire, pushed into the deep end. And this season, for the first time in a while, I'm kind of remembering JJ McCarthy might not start the season. There's rumors of Drake May maybe not starting the season. But you just see guys getting rushed in so often. And it used to be year 3. Remember, it used to be year 3 for a rookie quarterback to really prove themselves. Now it's Thanksgiving of year 2. That's what most general managers say. Just getting pushed further and further forward. And when we can judge these guys as busts or stars, and you don't have CJ Strouds happen all the time. So I completely agree with Brady. In Jordan Love's case, especially, he sat for 3 years. I don't think you normally see a 3-year waiting period. That just happened to work out, perfectly for Green Bay. That's how it goes. But generally speaking, would you guys agree with Brady's side of it? Of hey, let's hold off on these guys the way the Packers have been doing it, or do you like throwing guys into the fire and saying get experience and learn as you go?
First thing I'm going to go.
So here's the thing that I always find strange is there is no other position in the NFL where people talk like this. It's only quarterback, right? You put a cornerback, he's starting day 1. Nobody says he's going to learn a bunch of bad habits and sucks, right? Nobody looks at Jeff Okudah and says man, that guy could have been Deion Sanders if the Lions had just sat him for a year, right? When players bust at any other position, tackle, defensive end, running back, wide receiver, and they're taking top of the draft and expect to start right away, nobody says it's because they need to sit and take more time. Now, I know quarterback's a little bit different, right? There's more to learn. It's a bigger adjustment from college to some extent and all of that. But it's just hard for me to believe that we're really seeing a lot of guys who could be great quarterbacks in the NFL not doing well because they weren't given enough time. Because when they go to another organization, when they ride the bench for a year or two there, it's not like you see those players suddenly transforming into someone new. And I just have a hard time believing that it's because they've ingrained so many bad habits from starting, they couldn't possibly be fixed. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say you should throw your guys out there day 1, right? If they're not ready, they're not ready. And I think that should go for every position. But sitting on more than half a season or maybe even a full season, it's really hard for me to see all of that offseason training really amounting to much.
I think that what they're doing now, if you're going to start a fresh rookie on day 1, what the NFL is doing now, and having that season and a half long window, I've had mixed feelings on that, but I do now believe that you either have it or you don't after a season and a half or 2 seasons. I know the counter argument can be like a Peyton Manning. What was he, 2-15 his rookie year or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, but Peyton was really good his second year.
Well, yes,
Peyton was really
Peyton
good,
was awesome second year. Josh Allen, unbelievable improvement really early. Big Ben as a rookie had 15 wins. Joe Flacco, his rookie year with AFC Championship game. I do believe if you have it, CJ Stroud, you will find it early. And if you don't have it, you don't have it. It's hard to find.
You really can't get it.
I don't think a guy like Kenny Pickett's going to find it. I'd be surprised if he does.
Do you think Jordan Love, had he went in? Now we're just playing games.
But let's say Jordan Love went in right away. Boom, right? I think there's a world he struggles for a year, but this guy has it. I think by his second year, it would have been great.
Well, I'm wondering because even when watching Jordan Love now, how many times does he do something and we sit back where the commentators go, oh, there's a little Aaron Rodgers in that. That throw looked like Aaron Rodgers. And that has to be, Jordan Love's a very talented natural passer of the football. He got a lot of strength in that arm. But there's a little bit of that Rodgers flair from watching Aaron Rodgers and practicing with Aaron Rodgers and emulating Aaron Rodgers, where I wonder if you throw Jordan Love in year one,
like without Aaron Rodgers having been
without
there.
learning from Rodgers, without growing accustomed to it, he struggled to start last season, and that was year 4 for him. First year starting, but year 4 in the league. I wonder if Jordan Love's playing year one, and he struggles, and he maybe doesn't ever turn it on and have the second half surge he had last year. Now you go into year 2, it's like, all right, you have till Thanksgiving. These are all hypotheticals, of course. They're kind of fun to talk about, but I'm not sure Jordan Love becomes what we're expecting Jordan Love to be if he doesn't sit.
I mean, I think you could be right. It's tough to really know, but
yeah, we'll never know.
That stuff's hard to know. But here's what's not hard to know: when you're talking about a rookie quarterback, there's really only 3 possible outcomes. They suck, they're elite, or they're decent. They're average to above average.
I don't know where you're going.
If they suck or they're elite, it doesn't matter when you start them, right? They're going to either be completely useless, right? It's not like Zach Wilson playing on his rookie deal gave the Jets really any value.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're elite, it doesn't matter if you eventually have to pay them because they're worth whatever money you're bringing in. The Chiefs aren't ruining that 1 year they missed a Mahomes on his rookie deal, right?
Yeah.
But if they're like an average to above average quarterback, right? Say, a guy like Tua, who's a pretty good quarterback, but is probably not elite and probably not worth that elite money. There's more moderate cases you could look at, like Trevor Lawrence. Good quarterbacks, but not great quarterbacks. The best chance you have to win games of them is when they're on that rookie deal, because they're going to get franchise QB money or close to it, and they're not going to deliver value at that price tag compared to what you can get on the rookie deal. So if you sit a guy for a bunch of years, like the Packers did with Jordan Love, if Jordan Love turns out to be elite, none of it matters. But if he turned out to be average or above average, they'd be kicking themselves hard right now, right? Because they'd have missed out on all of those years of decent quarterback play. And now they'd be forced to debate the extension after only getting 1 season out of it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the whole thing we talked about last year. Remember when he was struggling and then he sort of started playing better? I mean, then of course he turned it on. But before he turned it on, we were sitting on the show saying, all right, are they going to look in a new direction? And, the Green Bay's had their hands tied. They got super fortunate that not only did he get good, he got great by the end of the year.
And if you sit a guy for a couple years and then they get injured, you lose even more time to evaluate them, right? So on the one hand, if they sit, maybe they get better. It's not clear to me how much, but they probably do. On the other hand, you lose opportunities to evaluate them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a cost that a lot of people don't pay attention to.
I really don't know, like thinking about it again, if sitting behind a very good quarterback does make a world of a difference. Like I do truly believe if you have it, you have it. And if you don't, you're not going to find it. I mean, the amount of years that, I don't know, guys like Landry Jones or those guys sat behind Big Ben. Like, have you seen Landry Jones as a starter in the NFL?
Yeah, or like Jimmy Garoppolo behind Tom Brady. Like Jimmy came in and was good, but he wasn't great.
I don't think that had anything to do with Tom Brady. I think that had to do with the fact that he was a good quarterback.
Yeah, but look at Brock Purdy right away. Jalen Hurts, he came into the league and he's very good.
I mean, Burrow year 2 was awesome.
Burrow,
Super Bowl.
Like I think these GMs know, which is why the window is shorter. If he has it, he's got it, and if not, he doesn't. These guys are all,
makes sense.
These guys are all very, very, very good. And if they're going to succeed in the league, they'll show it early on.
I wouldn't sit for more than a year. Like I know the Packers did, and it worked out. Special case with Rodgers winning MVPs, kind of a weird scenario. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm not mad if the Vikings start McCarthy week 1, but I'll be a little bit okay. Like here we go, we're doing this right away. And I wonder the mental side of things.
But as you talk, I'll say this is the last thing I'll say is as you talk about teams, people always ask, are teams going to emulate the Packers model? Are they going to have their guys sit behind someone great? Let's say it was sitting behind Aaron Rodgers that made all the difference, right? Maybe that really was the difference maker here. Because surely sitting behind bad players of mediocre to bad coaching can't be that good for you. How many players are walking into a situation where they get to sit behind a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Yes.
How many players are walking into a situation where, people point to the Packers coaching staff? Maybe that does make all the difference. We're getting a really great coaching staff that knows what it takes to coach guys to be Hall of Fame QBs. And you're very rarely walking into that situation, right? So when people say, well, maybe if Bryce Young had sat half a season or a full season, it wouldn't have looked so bad. he wouldn't have looked so bad, but I doubt he would have been improving a ton, right? Does anybody really think at this point a year on the bench would have transformed Bryce Young into a superstar quarterback?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely get where you're coming from. So
Just
go ahead. Do you want to close it?
I was going to say, just go to the Hall of Fame quarterback store. Maybe that's what teams should be doing.
Yeah,
just
right
get
there.
a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Well, the Packers
haven't
do
played
that.
MVP level for a few years. Yeah, only one franchise gets to pull that stuff off.